ready as I'll ever be.
Are you ready as you'll ever be?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
That's good, because we've started recording.
We are the Holocaust.
Welcome to We Are the Holocaust.
Hi, Bouncy.
Hello, Rob.
How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. We've just recorded one podcast
We
already.
have our midweek special on the Marvel Universe.
Which people will have heard, hopefully, by now.
Hopefully they will.
And we'll have had lots of tweets telling us how brilliant we are.
Yes.
And that you really didn't deserve that crown
Well,
that you didn't get.
no, I didn't.
So they were right to think that you didn't deserve that crown.
Yeah.
So what are we up to this week then, Rob?
Well, we've got our usual What Have We Been Up To segment. We also have several pieces of news to discuss. We have Bouncy's bit.
No, we don't.
We don't know Bouncy's bit this week.
No, because we did it in the other show.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Of
Yeah.
course, we combined two shows into one in an interwoven way. Of course we did.
No, we split.
We've
one
got my
show-
bit,
we
anyway.
split one show into two. Why do we combine two shows into one?
Well, you know,
In the recording session.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, you're rubbish at this intro.
Yeah,
Mark.
pretty much. Just
Carry
because
on.
changing the running order confuses me.
All right.
But anyway, we've got the big plate,
Yes.
which intertwines with my bit,
Yeah.
and then we're going to go home.
After we've discussed what the hell Pringles are up to.
Well, I might be too angry.
Yeah, we'll see.
So what have you been playing this week, Bouncy?
An awful lot of stuff.
So I see.
This list isn't complete either. There's a lot of stuff on there that I didn't put on because I thought, oh, this is getting a bit ridiculous now. Because I started off the week with someone coming to work, wanted to trade in a couple of games that I wanted. And he wanted to buy a game that we didn't have in the shop, but I had. And I didn't want anymore.
Right.
So I swapped in his 2 for my 1. And,
What did you swap for what?
I swapped Advanced Warfare
Okay.
for Dying Light and Forza Horizon 2. Forza Horizon 2, obviously after playing the Fast and Furious game, I did say that did make me kind of want to buy Forza Horizon 2. But not enough to spend 25 quid. As it is, I haven't.
Yep.
And
Perfect.
even then, I still feel like I paid too much for it.
Right.
It's interesting. The strengths of the Fast and Furious thing was it was completable in a set time.
Yep.
Forza Horizon 2 is so big, it kind of suffers the same issues I have with GTA 5, where I get a bit bored of the gaps in between stuff. And there are a few little issues with how they've kind of designed the championship. So, say you're driving a car and you set up a series of events, and then you get enough credits to buy a new car.
Yep.
You then have to forfeit the rest of that season to start a new set of events.
Right.
You can't just carry on with that unless you want to just then not buy your car. So you have to kind of just say, oh, I won't buy that car yet. I'll wait until I've finished these. Then I'll get this car and go. Rather than just scale the event up to whatever class car you've got, it's like, well, you can't do that in this car anymore. So you can't have that car. It's very odd. I mean, it's not a crippling thing, but it's like, I want to be able to do these events in whatever car I want. Just give me opponents that will fight against me. It'll be fine. But on the plus side, you can get the Ariel Atom, which is my favourite car ever.
Hooray!
Well, favourite modern car.
Yep.
Mostly because it was in Project Gotham 3 or 4, one of them, and it was quick as fuck. It turned very, very well. I remember when they had it on Top Gear, and that everyone was astonished that this car that had been made by I think it was 5 or 6 people in this company made it almost in sheds, and it was stupidly fast because it was so light and so powerful. And it's in Forza Horizon 2, and because you can kind of go anywhere in Forza Horizon 2, I started on a big motorway, then went across a vineyard, and I hit I think 189 miles an hour, and then hit a bump in the field. I went, it just took off like a rocket and landed in a tree, which then my car hung in the tree for a second and then fell out like the Jeep in Jurassic Park. Best thing that happened in that entire game wasn't what was supposed to have happened in that game.
No.
There was no mission like try and drive your car to land in a tree and fall out, but it was hilarious. It's alright. And like I said, I haven't paid a fortune for it. The driver tires are still the best thing that they've ever invented in racing games. It's a marked improvement over There was the non-driver's hire version that they had in the 360 Fast and Furious, because it's just unreliable. It's well, not unreliable, it's unpredictable. Postman and Gav's driver tar is second only to mine in how obnoxious and aggressive it is.
Yeah.
Mine, I dare say, will probably be right now, because it's open world. So the driver tars aren't just like in Forza 5. There was a racetrack, and your driver tars like the open world driver tars. They behave like you behave in the open world. So mine right now is probably driving through buildings somewhere and like spinning across in the sky. So people just look over and it will look like a Bond vehicle just flying over corkscrew bridges and things, ramming people off the road just for the sake of it. But yeah, it's all right. It's just there's just not enough focus, and when there is focus, you have to just stick to whatever you've got.
Right.
But it's very pretty, and when it rains, it's glorious. But there is a DLC called Storm Island, which gives you that rain all the time, but it's £17 for DLC.
Just for some rain?
Well, it's a whole extra area and races. But it's in such a big game, I can't really justify that cost.
Yeah.
If it was a £5, I'd immediately jump on it. But as it is, I just think that's more than what I paid for the game. Even if I broke it down as how much it would have cost to got a second-hand copy of the Advanced Warfare, I'd have probably paid about £8 for Forza Horizon 2. And DLC's twice that. So, yeah, it's good. So if anybody's got it and they want a race, or they want to just keep an eye out for my driver tar and give me some idea of what it's up to, do let me know. What about you?
Played a little bit of Destiny, as I do every week.
And how's that going?
I'm pretty much waiting for House of Wolves to arrive in May now.
Right.
Sort of ticking over a little bit of XP. Maxed out one of my Titan subclasses, so I now have the achievement for maxing out a class for each different type of Guardian. You're the most shameless achievement whore I know. What are you
Not an achievement whore.
Liar.
Alright.
And tapped out. I've been continuing my Terwilliger family fun.
Which is still not putting the pressure on.
No, though some of the bits do seem to require a lot of collecting of items. So like the farmer's market, one of the challenges is buy the farmer's market. But to do that, I have to stop upgrading the centre because I need the seeds. It's just kind of a little bit at cross purpose. You need so many for the farmer's market.
I've just not bothered with the farmer's market because it just generates some stuff.
Yeah,
and I'd
so I'm kind of feel
upgraded. But do you know what? I look at it and I think the issue I had with a lot of the events is they put the really good stuff at the end of the line.
Yeah.
Instead, it's a farmer's market, or at the moment, which is about to end, and it will have ended by the time this goes out, the pet plant, tomato plant. I don't care if I don't get that. It's not a character, it has no intrinsic effect, it just moves around. The only reason I want it is what happens if you click on it. It does jazz hands. Well, and I quite like that, because I like jazz hands. Yeah. But other than that, I'm quite happy because if I don't get that, which I won't, I don't think. Yeah. I've not lost a premium character. I've not lost a building. Yeah. I've lost a walking tomato plant, which I can deal with that. Yeah. The rest of it, I'm quite happy. Just casually going on. I've also levelled up to the point that I can have Marvin Monroe. So I've got that mission, and I got the blue hair lawyer in a mystery box.
I got Kearney from the mystery box.
So I've got all of his missions as well going on. So I've actually got quite a lot going on. And then there was that little Lisa and Bart mission that went on this week as well. So yeah, it's kept me busy, but I haven't felt obliged to keep signing in all the time, and I haven't paid my phone this week, so I don't have mobile data.
Right.
So I have only been able to play at Wi-Fi, but I don't feel like I've lost out. But I have been playing like Mortal Kombat X on iOS, because I said last week I'd only just started. It's still not working very well.
Right.
It's still early days. They haven't got in what's classed as the faction. The faction wars.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. I was going to edit it out, and then you made it. I can't edit it. So the faction wars thing, where basically you get to choose a faction in the main console game, so you can be like the Brotherhood of Shadow or the Spec Ops or whatever. And so they're going to have that where, depending on what you've chosen, you fight for that team.
Okay.
So it might be kind of cooperative. It might just be everybody playing and a target, a total or whatever. That hasn't gone live. Raiden's challenges haven't gone live yet. But the game is still fleshing out nicely. I've got my first gold character without having to pay any money at all, just using in-game currency I've unlocked. I've got silver characters. So basically gold, silver and bronze cards. So you level them up, but if you get a duplicate card, you can merge them, which will sort of give them an enhanced power as well. So it's a sort of card collecting game, but also have a combat element. And it's pretty solid. I like playing it. I play it every morning. Usually dip in and out of it during the day because you have a finite amount of energy per character, which then needs to refill. But yeah, it's a solid little package, and when I get around to getting the console version, it'd be nice because they will unlock stuff on each other, so that's all good. But yeah, at the same time, I showed you this, the Topps Star Wars Cars Trader app,
yes,
which is absolutely getting in my head and driving me insane. Because I don't get it. I like trading cards.
Right.
I like digital trading cards.
Yeah.
I like trading with people, and I love Star Wars. And I love this.
Okay.
But it's like heroin. I don't.
So this is having the same effect on you that the Premier League 94-95 stickers had on me as an 11-year-old, basically.
Well, no. Because I can't collect some things, right? So I'll load it up because I don't want to say it's wrong. So at the moment, the latest piece of news, it's called Hope Begins. It says, before joining Luke Skywalker on a galactic journey, this set takes you behind the scenes of the Star Wars saga Galactic Moments. So they are set photos, basically.
Okay.
The Galactic Moments set is a marathon set. For each group of 10 you collect, you'll earn a special award card.
Okay.
Collect all 30 for a rare award card.
Okay.
The newest card is George Lucas begins filming Star Wars A New Hope.
Okay.
Available only in the Darth Vader Master Pack at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daily Time.
Right.
This card will then be available in the Yoda Master Pack and a Boba Fett base pack from 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daily Time.
Right.
And will only be in these 3 packs. The odds are 1 in 25 of those packs will contain one because they're only printing, in inverted commas, 5,000.
Okay.
To reiterate, this Galactic Moments card will not be available in the Mace Windu or Asajj Ventress base packs.
Okay.
It's just mental. Like, they're creating genuine rarity.
Yeah.
So then you get these people in there commenting, going, I've got this, I'll give you this, I'll trade you this, I'll give you 10,000 for this. And there's an economy based on people trading. But I offered up some stuff for trade, and I got rated 1 out of 5.
Okay.
Because if you rate somebody 5 out of 5, you'd think, well, I'll trade with them. So it's so mean-spirited and negative, they don't want anybody else to be high up. So everybody rates everybody 1. To try and say, look, I'm clearly good because I've got 5 and they've only got 1, so you need to trade with me. The community is awful.
So it's like some backwards eBay thing.
Kind of.
Where nobody gives A++++. Everybody's like D-.
I did, though. Look, I changed my profile picture to the Happy-FARKIN logo.
Well, that's clearly good.
Because I thought...
that's worth at least 2 extra stars.
I thought, I want to be trading with people who know what Happy-FARKIN is.
Right.
So I thought they might see my picture and go, How
many people have you traded with?
He's... one. Yeah. He's been to Colsterworth.
That was a bloke with a little chef logo.
Well, this guy said, rated by 1 fan, 1 star. I don't think he's a fan, is he? I've collected 22% of all the cards.
Okay.
So that's quite good.
Yep. You've been playing for about a week, right?
I've got 472 cards. This is my collection.
Okay.
So you have regular cards.
Yep.
Then you have the blues.
Yep.
Then the next rarity is red.
Yep.
And then the next rarity after that is gold. Now, there aren't many. I don't think I've got very many of them at all, as you'll see.
I think you showed me one the other day.
There's a Chewbacca. I've got a gold Chewbacca. And it tells you on the back. So they've only made 3,448 of those.
Okay.
So to have one is quite a thing. But it's obviously nothing. It doesn't exist. It's just there. But I don't get it. I don't get why people are so mean. And why they won't just trade with me. Like, they need something and I've got something. Why can't I just swap?
Do you want me to sign up to it just to give you 5 stars?
Well, no, I don't want 5 stars. I want the stuff I've got.
Well, be like that, you dick.
What I'm saying is, if people are interested in having this on their phone,
yep,
maybe we can just trade with each other and get rid of all the idiots in the world.
So we'll just build up a Lolacourse Star Wars trading group.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see happen.
Cool.
Because the game, well, it's not even a game, is it? You basically get given some credits every day
that
you can then spend. But like that timing thing, they'll put rare packs that will come out, so you can't spend all your money straight away. Otherwise, you might miss a really rare pack.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I like that in that it's that.
Do I save it or do I spend it?
You don't know if you buy that, you might have got a really rare card, but then maybe later on there's an incredibly rare card. So I like that. There's also like earn free credits if you watch trailers and things, but that's really there to try and get you to
watch trailers and things
and sign up for things just so you then get the rare packs.
Yeah.
So don't do that, but watch, just give your phone to a kid and get them to watch loads of trailers, and you get credits for it. It's quite handy. But yeah, so it's an interesting little diversion, but God, it's mean-spirited.
Yeah.
It's just awful people. 1 star. And the HAPPY-FARKIN.
Well, did get shut down.
Yeah, well, I had my 6th birthday party at HAPPY-FARKIN.
Yeah.
I had a bee birthday cake.
Oh.
It had a bee on it.
Oh.
That's nothing to do with why I'm bouncy with BHF second bee. It was just a bee. Who puts a bee on a fucking cake? Bees are terrifying to children.
Well, you need them.
It was a smiley bee. And it was. You know when you do like a bit of a piped icing, make a little crown pattern?
Yep.
It was like that. Like pointillism.
Yeah.
A bee.
I was trying to teach Annabelle why bees are important.
I mean, they are important, but not on a birthday cake.
No, well, no, not live bees on a birthday cake.
Well, it's just the image of a bee. It wasn't even that. Do you remember was it the Wuzzles, which were like animals that were mixed together? It was like an museal.
Flammable.
And no. There was like basically it was Bumble Lion,
Okay.
which was half lion, half bumblebee.
I don't remember this.
No. Well, anyway, that was a thing, but it wasn't even that. They just put a bee. I took my son to Chroma.
Okay.
And the funniest story he's got, you know how like kids don't have very many funny stories? Funniest story he's got is he was at Chroma and we were eating fish and chips.
Right.
But he doesn't like fish, so he had a sausage.
Okay.
And he went to put the sausage in his mouth and a bee landed on it. And I went, watch out, don't eat that. And his sister went, ha ha ha, a bee landed on your sausage. And now everybody, we tell that at parties. Because it's like, do you remember that time, Harry, when a bee landed on your sausage? And everybody's like, oh, that story again.
Yeah.
So
He used to embellish it a little bit more every year. That's how it works.
No,
that's how it works.
Eventually he'll have ridden a bee and flown it over
that's what
to
I mean.
Chroma.
That's what I've learned from my granddad's Christmas story. It's the same one every year, but slightly embellished.
Yeah, it'll be interesting by the time like he's an old man. I'll tell you.
The size of that bee.
You remember those things, bees that don't exist anymore? One of them landed on me once, carried me away, dropped me in its nest, and fed me to all of its baby bees.
St George's Day it was. I had to fight it off with a sword and shield.
And the only people who supported me were UKIP, who basically said I should have a national holiday.
Because the bees came over from Holland or something.
Where did bees come into this?
Oh, you had a bee birthday cake from the HAPPY-FARKIN. You've got a
HAPPY-FARKIN
logo on the Star Wars game.
So, do you know, sometimes I have conversations, I think, what the fuck am I talking about?
It's even more awkward when I'm not here. And you have these conversations with no one.
My partner, poor Claire, I swear, she deserves a medal for how she manages to deal with me. She said to me the other night, we went upstairs. Now, we're a couple in the early stages of our relationship, so sexual encounters occasionally happen. Right, we are both getting on a bit. We've both got children, so they don't happen quite as often as they would if we were like teenagers.
Yeah.
But it's healthy, right? So we go up to bed, and in her head she's thinking, he's taking his trousers off. And then for 2.5 hours I start talking about E3. And she was just sat there going, yeah, right. Now she has no interest in games at all. She humoured me for 2.5 hours and then went to sleep. And I thought, I thought we were going to have sexy time. So I turned over, sulked, and went to sleep. Next morning, she's like, I can't believe you spoke for 2.5 hours about stuff I don't even care about. I was like, well, right, but I'm excited about Bethesda. They're going to do their own thing. They might be announcing Fallout 4. It's a big deal. She said, I get it's a big deal. There's no kids here tonight. You can have
Actually, fair, your 2.5 hour speech is longer than the Bethesda conference is going to be.
Yeah, I should have recorded it, and that could have been a
Just
podcast.
sent it off to them.
Well, that could have been the whole podcast episode.
We can edit out Claire sighing in the background.
No, leave it in. It would appeal to the people who understand what it's like to live with a massive nerd. But yeah, she deserved a medal for that one because, like I said, there's lots of issues in relationships, but one shouldn't be me just doing a podcast at her when she's got no interest.
Monologuing on your own in the corner.
I do need like a little spotlight and just go. And it was at that point that I realised I was always going to be on the side of Sega. As I trapped my penis in the cartridge slot of a Mega Drive. Anyway, talking about how much I love Sega, I've been playing my Nintendo new 3DS this week a lot.
Yes.
Because they announced, they had Streetpass week.
They did.
Now, my new Nintendo 3DS wasn't picking up spot passes.
I saw you tweet about this.
Yeah, and I asked if anybody else had any problem. Nobody. One person, I think might even have been Gavin himself, mocking me for being smug about owning one, which I wasn't because it wasn't working properly.
Yeah.
It was annoying me. Basically, yeah. What I had to do, I spoke to Nintendo's support.
Right.
And do you know what I had to do?
Pay them £100.
No, I had to go to the spot pass setting, turn it on, off and on again.
Brilliant.
All right.
And then it worked.
Yeah.
Ah.
But I'd already done that, and they said, no, you need to do... Basically, I had to turn it off, then turn communications off, then turn the console off, then reboot it, then turn it back on in sequence.
Okay.
But essentially, it was turn it off and on again.
Huh.
That was Nintendo's actual support line. That's what they're telling people to fix. That is how you fix it. So if you're having that problem, turn it off and on again.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But so I'm now picking up swap passes, and as a result, I'm getting my jigsaw pieces again.
Okay.
And as part of Streetpass Week, they released 2 new Streetpass games. Now, you know I love Streetpass.
Yes.
You've witnessed how mental I get at Eurogamer.
Yes.
And now
a bit disconcerting.
Now I've got 2 actual proper games now. One of which is Streetpass Fishing, which is a kind of cross between...
Streetpass and fishing?
No.
Oh.
The Animal Crossing fishing element and Sega Bass Fishing.
Okay.
So you've got, when people come in, their shirt colour denotes what sort of bait they're carrying.
Okay.
And fish will be attracted to certain different types of bait. And you can combine the bait to make larger bait to attract bigger fish.
Okay.
It's sensible. It's very good. It's a complete little game. You can play it for, every time you let people in, you play for about 10-15 minutes if you want to. And then you can put your fish in an aquarium and look at them in 3D. Yep, it's very nice. I don't like fishing, but I do like fishing in computer games, as I found out at MGPX last year. When, while drunk on Sambuca, I played Sega Bass Fishing on the Dreamcast.
Beautiful.
And somebody had a go at it and they weren't very good. They couldn't make it work. And I'd never played it.
Yeah.
It's one of those games I was like, oh, fucking fishing nerds. They're the worst, they are. Like, it's worth enough being a nerd and into fishing, but a fishing nerd who wants a little plastic fishing rod, a little reel on it. Oh, look at me, fishing my fake fish with my fake rod in my fake house with my fake friends.
Yep.
But I was wrong to think like that, because Sega Bass Fishing on the Dreamcast with that little fishing rod is very exciting when you've got a little crowd and you're drunk and you've let your ego go to your head a little bit. And so there I am. I think I might have still had my trousers on at that point, but I don't think it really matters. And I was going, come on, you bastard! Come on! Like fishing, winding it in, letting it out, winding it in, pulling it again. And I'm, whoa, I kept catching fish. And every time I did it, I did that thing from Red Dwarf, where Cat goes to the vending machine. She's like, fish! Fish! I was going, Robbie! Fish! Fish! So...
Did you not do a General Sherman bit from The Simpsons?
No, I didn't. So...
He was Bouncy, 7 feet tall, shaka red hair.
So, yeah. So I really like that fishing game. And then they put one on the 3DS. So I was on the bus today, and I was doing the circle circle pad, to wind the fish in and let it out a bit, then wind it back in, wear it out, let it out, wind it back in. I went, yeah, fish! And realised I was on a bus surrounded by people who all just went, what the hell are you doing? So I'm fishing. I'm fishing on this little white plastic thing. Don't judge me. So, yeah, that's a really good game. It cost about £4.99, I think.
I think I just scream things on the bus as a result of it.
And then the other one is Streetpass Zombies, which is a little zombie game. Each level's about 10 minutes long. You pick people up, they give you weapons. Weapons are mental. Wii remotes, paintbrushes, toy cars, a pillow. Fight a zombie with a pillow. Wow. Very powerful. One of them, I think you have a laptop or a mobile phone, and you can order a delivery from like Amazon, and a big parcel drops from the sky, squashes whatever's in front of you. Huh. It's like properly bonkers, but great fun. Both games, because I bought the Streetpass games first time, like the premium ones, I got discounts. I think I got both of them for £6.79. So I thought, oh, that's good.
It is good.
And then they said, would you like this VIP thing? Because you look like the sort of person that
who likes VIP
likes
things.
a bargain. I'm like, yeah, didn't even look what it was. I just bought it. Do you know what VIP gives me?
What does it give you?
A VIP lounge. I can put people's me's in to keep them safe.
Okay.
And the option to... I don't know if it is because of the VIP thing, but I can put the games in another room if I don't want to see them.
Right.
Which seems a bit silly. And every time I pick up a me now, their birthday crosses off a thing on a calendar, which has now given me a massive game of bingo, where I have to try and find a me from every birthday of the year, including the 29th of February.
Huh.
So what I might have to do is just get Harry's, my eldest, DS and change his birthday right away through the calendar to get that, because there's no way I'm ever going to finish that. It's going to drive me mental.
You've only got to meet 365 people with different
366.
Oh, that's true, yeah, 366.
Yeah, and that's where it becomes difficult. 365 is doable. 366 is frankly taking the piss.
I know somebody who was born on February 29th.
Have they got a DS?
I don't know.
Well, buy them one if they haven't. Say, right, make sure we put your right birthday there. None of this 28th malarkey. Because that's the thing. Like,
There's only 6, leave them alone.
For some consoles, you get like a prize if it's your birthday. So if I was born on 29th, I'd be putting 28th.
Yeah.
Because I'd want something every year. Like, if you imagine Animal Crossing, where they come around and have a birthday. Imagine how depressing it would be if you had to wait 4 years for a birthday cake in Animal Crossing.
Huh?
And that's what you waited for. By the end of it, there's a new Animal Crossing game come out. And you don't play it anymore. And then you go back and they all go, you didn't turn up to your birthday party. And you're like, shit.
You didn't turn up to your birthday
Forgot
party.
all about it. Oh. Yeah, that would be awful. But Eurogamer's coming up and we're talking about going, won't we?
Right.
On Thursday.
Yes.
And maybe a bit of Friday.
Well,
I don't think we'll need to.
depends.
I think Thursday will be enough.
Yeah, probably.
Although it's supposed to be bigger this year.
Yes.
Because they've got more space. And they've got a whole cosplay competition going on. Should be interesting. Because last time there was a cosplay thing, I beat up a bear. So I will be laying down a challenge to any cosplayer. If they want to fight me, I will fight them. With my fists.
Okay.
So the Streetpass stuff, the VIP stuff, probably not essential. But I got to get carried away. And
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but the Streetpass games themselves are very, very good. It's now added a thing, so when you meet someone, it comes with a little speech bubble above your head. You can now buy custom versions of those with like Sonic or Mario or whatever on.
Okay.
It's quite nice. There's just a bit more customization. People like that. So yeah, so that's all fixed. And yeah, Mass Effect. How are you getting on with Mass Effect 3?
I didn't get very much further this week. I've been quite a busy chap over the last 10 days, but played a touch more. As I mentioned last week's show, or the last episode, so last week's.
Yeah.
The technical troubles we had, it was...
What's last week?
It was, technically, I suppose. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, played Mass Effect 3. I've nudged slightly further along. Still not particularly far in, but...
No.
Does lead me on to the news, though, quite nicely, I think.
Well, you'll come to that in a second.
I will come to that in a second.
I've played something I can't talk about.
Okay. Well,
But I took a photo of myself while I was loading that thing that I can't talk about. And so if you
it's so awesome, it's burnt itself into your glasses.
It's Awesome's it's a very early version. It's of a massive franchise.
Yep.
That if you haven't seen the picture, if I was that bumblebee lion and I chopped off the body, which was the bumblebee, I'd be left with just the bit remaining, which would be a lion's kind of face, ears, and skull. If that was to make a game, that would probably be like this.
Oh, right.
I can now see how it could be a massive success.
Yep.
Being on the opposing side is the best thing for me. Being as part of a team works when people have an idea what they're doing, because obviously new to it.
Yep.
Lots of characters to choose from in this version. One of the person that I may or may not have been in this game that I may or may not have been playing might have been someone to do with a medical profession.
Right.
With a Brummy accent.
Right.
And the ability to make leeches come out of him.
Oh.
But yeah, so Fable Legends is quite good. But I can't talk about it. So. But no, I'm not going to go into any details. But yeah, you can apply to get into the beta. They're doing regular things. They ran it. Annoyingly, it ran from Saturday night through till Monday at 6 a.m.
Right.
So you had basically Saturday night, all day Sunday to play it. So I played it after work on Sunday for a few hours. And as I showed you, there's a nice copy protection thing.
Have they done that to line up with Pacific time like a lot of the others do?
No, I think it is a British thing because it's a British team.
Yes.
So
that's what made me wonder because some like Destiny,
Bungie,
all the Destiny updates are lined up with Pacific time, aren't they?
I think it was mostly to get that Sunday.
Right.
I think they just wanted to grab as many people as possibly play it.
And they thought that would be the better day.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any trouble getting a game. And as I sent you a screenshot, it prints my name across the screen about 100 times, which, if I was an egomaniac, would make me go, oh, look at that, I'm going to take a picture and send that to my friends.
If you were an egomaniac.
If I was an egomaniac and if I was playing that game. But yeah, I was on the fence about this. In this at very early form, I am 100% behind it.
Yep.
It's free to play anyway. It's definitely worth every ever go. When it comes out, and definitely try and get onto the beta if you've got a console that will allow it. Finally, I will apologise slightly in advance, but there are two people I follow on Twitter. One called Jen and one called Craig. They are from up in the Scotlandlands.
Right.
And they would have a conversation. She'd sent him, because they're a couple, and she'd sent him an article about this game called Stick Shift.
Yep.
And she was like, what? And he was like, what am I looking at? And of course, straight away I was like, well, if they're weirded out. And bear in mind, I met Jen at Eurogamer last year.
Right.
I basically said, I'll keep an eye out for you. Because, like you see somebody on Twitter, and you're both at the same age, it's nice to meet up. I like that community thing. Well, I haven't really spoke to her too much, but I knew she was at the event. She'd post a picture of what she looks like, and I posted a picture of what I look like. I said, look, hopefully we'll bump into each other. If not, I'll put a jam sandwich under a cardboard box and then pull a stick out and trap you. And then I spotted her walk by, round the side of Earl's Court. So I followed her around the side of Earl's Court. It turns out she was ringing a landlord about getting a flat. And I kind of just basically stopped her from making a phone call and talked at her for 15 minutes. And she's lovely, absolutely lovely. They both are very nice. I didn't get a chance to meet Craig, unfortunately. I didn't realise he was there properly. And then when I twigged it was him that was going to be there, I was like, could have met them both. So Stick Shift, I thought, I'll have a look at this. It's a weird experience, Rob. Basically, it's a little indie game.
Okay.
Sort of more of a concept game, and it's a part of a trilogy of games. I haven't played the other two yet, but I'm going to this week. Dealing with the idea of overt sexuality in games.
Okay.
So basically, it was like, what if sex in games wasn't something that you achieve, but was the game?
Okay.
So you're driving a car.
Yep.
Rhythmically stroking the gear stick.
Right.
And revving the engine in time to basically get your big gay car off.
Okay.
It's you basically.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's very weird. I played it with a mouse, so you kind of rock the mouse up and down a bit.
Right.
You got to keep the rhythm right.
Right. And
you basically eventually the exhaust pipe will start dripping.
Right.
It's a very bizarre.
Yes.
Very bizarre thing.
Sounds it.
The more I read into the reasoning behind it, it makes a lot of sense, and it does say a lot of things that indie games should do. But I will get back to you once I've played the full trilogy and report back. But if you are of a questionable nature, or you've ever wondered what it'd be like to wank off a car, Stick Shift.
Right.
Completely free. If you download it, you can choose to pay the guy for it if you want to. When I finish trilogy, if I feel enlightened, I will buy him a beer, as he calls it.
Is the second one called Wank Stick?
No, this is the third one.
Oh, right.
The other two, I think one of them was more female related.
Right.
But I can't remember. So yeah, I just found it astonishing that this, and it is like doing its round on a lot of websites. People are just going mad because, of course, it's a bloke wanking off a car.
Yeah,
it is the weirdest of things.
Yes,
but it is the sort of game that you'd imagine Jeremy Clarkson would love.
Right.
Just like, if this gives me a steak sandwich at the end of it, I'll be sorted. Maybe that's what drips out the exhaust pipe, hollandaise sauce or something.
Maybe.
But yeah, so it is a bit of an odd one. But I will get back to you next week with a full 3. But thank you to Jen and Craig for pointing me in the direction of something so bloody weird.
Yes.
It is weird.
It sounds weird.
Yeah. I might get you to play it before the show next week.
Yeah.
It's not a sexy game. Don't worry.
It doesn't sound it.
and I don't think you could find it very sexy either. But what it's suggesting is, what if everything in that game was about achieving that rather than anything else. But yeah, so there we go. Stick Shift.
Stick Shift.
Yeah. So, how about we have some bloody news? This is the news. The news that's new and improved. Is that Good Morning Vietnam? All the news is new and improved.
Can't remember.
Denanya, grab off Denanya. Good old Robin Williams. That's a very good film.
Yeah.
Might find that and use that as a sample.
Oh.
Got some lovely music at the end of the show this week as well. Keep your eyes out for that.
Lovely.
So, news. What do you got for me?
There has been some potential details of Mass Effect 4 leaked.
Ooh.
Now, it's not
I
official.
haven't read any of this, so you can just tell me. I've
Okay.
deliberately not looked.
Well, it seems to be suggesting there are scenarios that EA or whoever have kind of pushed out to whoever they push these things out to try and gauge responses from the community.
Okay, so like a survey.
Almost like that, yeah.
Right.
To try and gauge interest in different elements of things. Now, we've seen similar things happen before with Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yep.
The bits were leaked, and they turned out to be quite close to
to
what came at the end. So, although it's not officially in any sense, people are optimistic that this is somewhere on the right path, Mass Effect 4.
Okay.
Which apparently is going to be set in the Helios cluster.
That's in Andromeda.
So, yes.
It is.
Okay.
I know that.
Cool.
Brian Cox.
There we go. So, yeah, it's taken the setting way away from the solar system. So, way away from Shepard's universe.
Well, you say way away, depending on if they travel through them gate things.
Well, that's part of what people are querying, is how it ties into the original trilogy or not.
See, I don't.
And this is where it starts to get
Would you
weird.
care if it wasn't? If it was in the same universe, but it had absolutely zero connection whatsoever, other than maybe some species, would it worry you too much?
Probably not, me personally, no.
Because I
this
think...
is where what ties partly into my bit for this week's show is...
Right.
Have they just tacked on... No, I don't mind broaching the subject now. Is have they just tacked on the words Mass Effect to sell copies?
Who is that?
You know, it's kind of...
Well, you know,
it's
still
got a similar vibe, but it's a completely different setting.
But if it's the same gameplay, essentially, then it's still the same game. The setting isn't the game.
No. But
and a storyline, as long as the storyline fits within that universe.
It just feels kind of weird to me in a sense.
I mean,
it doesn't bother.
No.
To be honest with you, even if it didn't have the name tacked on, it sounds like the sort of game which would interest me anyway.
It could be the difference between Enterprise and Voyager, for example.
Yeah.
Like, the two are the same universe, but there are elements that are there, but they couldn't be more different, really, could they?
Well, no.
I've not seen either of them, but I know enough about them. I own them. I haven't watched them. Anyway, carry on. What do we sort of know, maybe?
Well, it's apparently to do with the Pathfinder initiative, something called the Archon. Now, nobody really knows what Archon stands for yet.
Right.
So, again, it's all a bit...
Is this the
vague.
fifth Batman game? Archon Asylum.
Archon Asylum. So there's all a little bit of hearsay, conjecture and guessing, and as a few people have said, the A and the R in Archon could be Alliance Reconnaissance, which would make sense.
What would K be?
Exactly.
Kill chickens
or not.
Yeah, there you go.
So we've cracked that then. But yeah, it's all just a little bit wishy-washy, and there's mentions of collect resources to fuel your growth. Was one of the times.
Archon? What if it's Arc on? So because the Pathfinder would be creating new forging
paths.
So maybe they need to find a new home. But it's like a forward advance.
Again, this is the speculation bit.
Well, I'm speculating. That's what I'm doing. I haven't read this information.
No.
I am not privy to these
I'm not sending you any
facts.
links anymore.
No, sometimes it's nice because I think if you both know the information, the conversations doesn't work as well.
But anyway, it's all still a bit wishy-washy. As you said, is it Ark, as in the Ark, find the new home type sense?
Or
Could
is
be
it like Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark.
Yep, and they're going to look for one. So yeah, it could be find the new home type thing.
Could be knowledge.
It could be because of the Reaper attacks in the first three. So they've obviously sent these people to sneak off to try and find a new home for humanity.
Reapers know orange Norberts. No, camera.
So yeah. It's all stuff that's going to be leaked out. There's mentions of collecting resources again, which could be a divisive part of the original trilogy. Finding a crew, again, not a dissimilar story to the first, where you assemble your team.
Which, again, is part of the thematic sequel option, isn't it? To keep
so, but one bit that did crop up was strike team missions. Now, reading a few bits, there are comparisons to the Dragon Age Inquisition War Table missions.
Yeah, okay.
Which I don't know particularly well. I'm aware of the concept, but I don't know the works. I haven't played the game. But again, it ties in with other similar ideas. You mentioned Assassin's Creed previously. I think on the Marvel show we talked about. And you could do things with the apps to send off.
Yeah, you send them off, yeah.
So, there's ideas whether something like that features in...
Which makes sense, because again, very often BioWare share between the two.
Yep, so... and then you've got to talk about the multiplayer as well, and Horde mode.
I love Horde mode.
It is, and everybody generically calls it Horde mode these days, because it's pretty explanatory what it is then, because the Gears of War version...
I mean, that sort of thing used to be Wave mode, didn't they? They used to call it, and I think that sort of suggests it's a surfing thing.
Yes.
I think Horde is... it's a contemporary...
Yep, so that's mentioned, and there's also the idea of establishing settlements. So again, it comes back to what you were saying about the Ark type thing and setting up new homes for humanity.
Which would fit in with the idea of going for resources on planets. You would actually basically set up something that would generate those.
So
it all seems, it seems Mass Effect-y.
It does, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So, and then seamless travel through the next Mass Effect universe. So again, are we talking gateways?
That would be good. No loading screen.
Well, that'd be good.
I remember, was it Mass Effect 2 where I just had that one, when you get to the jump and you just go, like loaded, and you're just like, for God's sake, come on.
In the lift.
Go, no, it powered a ship up to fire it.
Oh, through the mass relay.
Yeah. And you'd see that for ages turning.
It was really loud. Ridiculously loud.
Yeah. And it was like, but it was that horrible deep bassy sound as well. Oh, whoa, and it goes, gone.
Yep. So
always when you've gone to get a drink.
So again, what that seems actually means, if it does mean get rid of those damn loading screens, so
if it means, and let's not make any bones about it, Destiny could do with that. The amount of times I bloody watched my ship going through a warp tunnel. This is I mean, you're on the 360s, so fair enough, but I'm on new gen. I've had to install 50 gig to my bloody hard drive. I can at least go from one level to another without a loading screen. No. I've got to sit and see a bloody tunnel. And do you know what? I wouldn't mind if a tunnel was like the levels between Earthworm Jim, where you were chasing a crow through an asteroid belt. But no, can't do anything. Make it a bit interactive. Like when you install Heavy Rain and it gives you a piece of origami in the box. It goes, while this is installing, make your origami bird. Instructions on the screen. Give me something to do.
Okay. Happy?
No, I'm not.
Good.
Very depressed now.
So there's also mentions of customisation, experience sharing, which is kind of starting to become almost standardish now.
Yeah.
Share stuff.
I think Destiny will have had an influence.
Almost certainly. So let's talk about Ket outposts. I think the Ket have been mentioned as a possible enemy to face.
I can't remember the Ket. What are the Ket? Were they the robot things? No, they weren't the robot things.
No, I think they're brand new for...
Oh, okay, alright. I didn't know if there was something like that.
No, I think the Ket are new for Mass Effect 4.
Sounds a bit Egyptian.
It does a little bit. And then there's also talk of being able to drive and upgrade your Mako, because everybody loved the fucking Mako twatty thing.
Well, if I can upgrade it to be able to drive it, that would be handy. That would be the first upgrade I'll buy.
And then at the bottom of the article...
True Colonel Gaddafi.
Yes.
This
is one of my new favourite things, is just looking at what the clickbait articles throw up. You don't ever have to read them, right? So you've got 10 types of horrible boss. Now, does that look like a horrible boss? It's just a smiling man.
I don't know, it looks like somebody who might slip my wife.
Well, there is that. And then, as you said, yes, Colonel Gaddafi, world's wealthiest men of all time, #1 will make your jaw drop. And then there's Gaddafi looking a bit solemn.
Well, he's dead.
Well, that's why he looks solemn.
That's my, here's a little peep behind the curtain. That's mine and Claire's safe word.
Colonel Gaddafi?
Gaddafi.
Ah.
I don't know why. It came up in conversation once, and now it's ever since. It's not really a sexual swear word. It's a jokey one more than anything.
Ah.
Carry on.
So yeah, that's Mass Effect 4 and your safe word.
Yeah.
So it is a bit wishy-washy. It seems to suggest that this is looking for, I'll call it community feedback on some of the ideas they seem to be banding about.
Yeah.
And they'll react accordingly, I suppose, to what they hear. But
yeah. No, very good. Wow. It seems to be a thing for sci-fi games, because we also got Star Wars Battlefront trailer.
Yes.
That came out. I mean, it came out after we watched the Star Wars trailer.
It did.
And we didn't really talk about it too much at the time. but I think we both saw it at the same time as pretty much the film trailer.
Yep.
If they make a game that looks and plays like it looks, that's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I'm in a massive quandary.
Why?
Well, I promised myself that if I could get, and I talked about this on the show, if I could get a certain amount of game score at the end of the year, I would buy myself a PS4 as a reward.
Yes, you did.
So I know I'm getting a PS4 by the end of the year.
Yep.
So I will stick to that. And by the end of the year, I'm saving up a little bit every now and then, so I should have enough to buy one. And then they announced Star Wars Battlefront PS4.
They did.
The Stormtrooper design on it,
Yes.
and it's beautiful. It's even better than the Batman one, which is a bit of a step.
Right.
But I don't like playing those sort of games on a PS4 controller, or PS3 controller, or any PlayStation controller. So I want it on the Xbox One. And I've got EA Access, which will give me the game 5 days early.
It will.
And I can carry my progress over. But I really want that PS4. So I'm hoping the PS4 will come with a retail box, not bundle copy. Of course, it's going to be bundle copies, isn't it? I might just take CX, they're not fussy.
No.
They will take anything.
They will.
They took my 4th child.
They did.
26p.
Wow.
It was well worth it. But yeah, so I'm kind of a bit confused because the EA Access and Xbox One version is brilliant because I get it early. The PS4 version potentially also comes with exclusive DLC. So, yeah, but it's quite exciting. I'm now going to cough. Oh, I coughed and farted. Brilliant. Better than a snart.
It's true.
So, yeah, I've... no, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. You can't smell very much, anyway.
No.
That's a bit nutty.
You sure?
It's like amaretto. You know what amaretto smells like?
Vaguely.
Listeners, my fart smells like amaretto. So, yeah, Battlefront, I loved seeing it on Endor. I think Endor is the perfect place. It's always Hoth. Every big Star Wars game always does a Hoth battle sequence because it is the big troops on the ground battle sequence in the Star Wars trilogy. And they do show you a bit of Hoth in the trailer, but the majority of it is, but Endor, come on. And then an AT-AT just turning up and you're like, ooh, I do like an AT-AT. And you can't do the rope trick on the AT-ATs like you could with snow speeders.
Nope.
So you're going to have to get some little tiny teddy bear people to put a rope across between 2 trees. Oh, it's going to be... got potential to be great. I just want the Ewok glider. I just want that constantly.
So you can throw stones.
Yeah, just drop some rocks onto the top of things. Hooray! I always think like those Ewoks are the equivalent of council estate kids on bridges with a bit of breeze block. That's what they're doing, really, aren't they? They've watched Star Wars and gone, that's a good idea. Throw this onto a Primark lorry. They're doing the right thing, but in the wrong way.
Yep.
Oh, I'm very off kilt today, aren't I?
A little bit.
Don't throw breeze blocks at Primark trucks unless they're parked. Then do what you like. Not if there's a driver in there. Like if it's left.
Maybe you should just not throw breeze blocks.
No, Primark deserve it.
Okay.
Throw red paint at them. Do that.
Throw yellow snow.
Black Ops 3.
Yes.
Also sci-fi related.
Yes.
Had a really interesting evolution of warfare teaser first. I don't know if you saw this one.
No, I've read about it today, actually, because as I've sort of hinted at on previous shows, the Call of Duty games I've kind of drifted away from.
Yep.
Because they were just too samey for me. Yeah. Even with, I know you were quite keen on Advanced Warfare, you praised it quite highly, but they were too linear, too on rails. That was what they were good at, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But because I'm more of a single player campaigner, they didn't appeal to me at £40 a time anymore.
No.
Whereas this one caught my eye a little bit because the buzz was this took it a step forward and it's opened up the world a little bit.
It has.
So it's rekindled my interest a little because it seems to have taken what Advanced Warfare has done and opened up the streets a little more.
So, I've analysed this trailer in great detail.
Mm-hmm.
When it launched, it hit UK about 6 o'clock on Thursday. Where are we? No, Sunday. 6 o'clock on Sunday night. And I had Paul the Shoe Shop Man and Tom from B&N were both in with me. And they both play Call of Duty. Now, Tom plays competitively. Right. He's in a clan that plays every weekend and they set their alarms and they play certain things and they do the clan wars and all sorts. Paul was massively into Call of Duty. Hasn't been as much recently. And I'm just a single player like you. So between us, we watched the trailer We had a big discussion. I think I've now watched it about 15 times to go through and try and pick everything out. It's interesting. Now, the biggest things I've noticed, 4-player co-op campaign, I reckon. They've already said it's going to be a co-op campaign.
They have.
There's a shot in the trailer of 4 people standing side by side looking over like a drop.
Yep.
If it's not a 4-player campaign, that'd be a misstep.
Yep. I would agree there.
That's the sort of norm now. Kind of Destiny does that sort of thing. Borderlands did it. Call of Duty should be doing it.
Yep.
There's a sequence in the trailer where you're underwater. You shoot while underwater, come out of underwater, and straight into another shot.
Yep.
That, I think, is a multiplayer map.
Right.
Underwater sections in multiplayer games don't happen very often.
Nope.
That opens up a whole new kind of warfare.
It does.
And I'm quite excited about that. But also, the way in which you shoot the person after coming out of the water is you don't use a gun, your arm seems to transform into a gun.
Yep.
So I like that idea that there's this nanotechnology that might be able to generate a gun arm. You're armed and dangerous.
But they have said there'll be class-based perks and so forth. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots in there. Wall running, which is something that's in Titanfall. Kind of jetpack double jump type things as well, which is like Titanfall. It's basically elements of Deus Ex, elements of Titanfall, elements of Advanced Warfare, and being a Treyarch game, it's also going to have zombies and the Black Ops storyline.
Yep.
Now, I'm willing to put my finger out there. I've been speculating wildly with my customers over the last couple of days about what the connection's going to be to the old games. Because the first one was mostly 60s, 70s.
Yep.
Then the second one went a little bit future, but still 70s. And it had Frank in the retirement home telling the story of what happened, and he was in a wheelchair because of the events of Black Ops 1. Now, he was crippled, and this game's all about soldiers with mechanical arms and legs.
Yep.
So I'm wondering whether he's part of a program that starts generating these limbs for soldiers, and whether that comes into it somewhere. So I'm thinking maybe there'll be a 1980s section.
Right.
And I would love to see, if possible, either a Falklands mission, which has never been done in a game as far as I'm aware.
No.
Or the 1988 Afghanistan War.
Yep, the late 80s.
Which has only really been done by Rambo.
Yes.
Again, that I'd like to see that in a war setting. So, that would give you a reason for Black Ops. I mean, obviously, Falklands not so much, but the Afghanistan War, definitely.
Yes.
Russia's still a sort of enemy at the moment. So it would be period. They've done Cuba in one of the previous ones. So again, it would be okay to go up against that regime. So I'm thinking there has to be a past time as well, because that's what those games hinge upon.
Yes.
But, we haven't seen 100% of anything. We'll probably find out close to the time. Well, it's going to be E3, they'll probably announce.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
More. But I like the fact there's all this, everything's in the future. But the point is that timer and that trailer shows development from present day.
Yep.
It doesn't show it from 2015 onwards. So, I'm quite excited about it. Again, as a single player, there's a story mode, we'll call it, because it's not single player anymore. There's a story mode. I'm interested in playing that story.
Yes, it has rekindled my interest.
Yes, that's the key to why I enjoyed Advanced Warfare, because I didn't really know anything about the story, and as I played it, I realised they started to concentrate a bit on that. So Battlefield Hardline, that story mode made the game for me. So there's a lot of Black Ops fans going, "Oh God!" The best comment I saw was a picture, because they leaked 3 screenshots before the trailer came out, or released 3. However you want to call it, and it was a soldier who had an ammo pouch on his hip, right, in like a little backpack. And the comment underneath it, that better be his fucking lunchbox. So, whoa! Don't want what? I don't want exosuits. I don't want jetpacks. Better be his fucking lunchbox. I don't think I'll be his lunchbox. Just this is a rough idea. Don't think they're going to have a whole backpack full of lunch.
Oh.
But there's the obvious hostility you get, which is good. Also, today we had the trailer for Batman Arkham Knight.
We did.
For the Batman Helpers. Have you seen the trailer?
I haven't watched it probably yet.
It basically details who's going to be helping Batman.
Yep.
Because he's up against Scarecrow, the Arkham Knight. He's up against Harley Quinn, he's up against Two-Face, against Penguin, and he's got his work cut out for him. On his side, he's got Azrael, Robin, Nightwing, Catwoman.
Right.
So
I think I did read something earlier on. Obviously, somebody's broken down the trailer already.
When I watched it,
a small piece.
I got very excited about the potential for co-op gameplay.
Yep.
Very quickly, Warner Bros. Went, this isn't co-op gameplay. This is what they call dual control.
Okay.
So you'll basically have, in certain parts of the game, control of 2 characters.
Okay.
So you'll be able to have free-flow combat where you can switch to another character, punch a character, switch to another character, grab them, and then throw them over, whatever.
Okay.
It could work very well.
Yes, it could.
What I like about it, because I immediately felt disappointed it wasn't co-op.
Yeah.
But then I thought, you can't tell Batman's story if Robin's always there.
True.
You know, because you're going to get people every time. If you play and you choose to be Nightwing, that story is completely different.
Yep.
So to have creative and narrative control, you have to be able to control when these characters are or aren't available.
Yep.
So I like that. I think that's the right choice.
Okay.
Hopefully there'll be some co-op multiplayer like there was in Arkham Origins.
Yep.
There was a kind of team-based multiplayer, which was Batman and Robin versus Joker's gang and Bane's gang, I think it was. So as long as that's there, I'm fine. But I love the idea of this combat where it introduces the other characters. And the Catwoman seems to be based a little bit on the Gotham Catwoman. She seems to be a bit younger, which is a bit weird because she doesn't look like the Catwoman from Arkham. But whether that's because they're thinking, well, people might be thinking of a different Catwoman now.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is a different Catwoman.
Maybe.
Who knows? But the Azrael thing's the interesting one. Yep. Because this being the guy who replaces Batman when he breaks his back, and obviously the rumours that Batman may die, is this Batman dying?
Yep.
Or a Batman dying? Because what if Azrael takes over the mantle, he's killed, and then Bruce Wayne can live knowing that the Bat's died. So if Scarecrow said, look, Bruce Wayne's Batman, and then Batman dies, and Bruce Wayne is not Batman, and then there's a possibility there. So it's opening up a lot of scope now for how the end game may play out, or Azrael may take over at the end. So again, very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Speaking of co-op games, Gears of War Anniversary.
I'm very excited.
You are.
Do you know, most articles I've read about this are another HD remake. Brr. It's not a HD remake, it's an anniversary edition. That's different. This is not a cash-in. If you're going to do a cash-in, you do the whole trilogy at once. You do a Master Chief Collection. Then we've heard a lot of rumours about the trilogy coming through. I'd heard from someone I trust very carefully that they were going to do a trilogy and a console in time for the new Gears game. But bear in mind the new Gears game is probably 2 years away.
Yep.
This one's out next year for the 10th anniversary. 10 years, Rob.
I know.
I've got something to say about that in a minute.
Okay.
But that would give them time to put out 3.
Yep.
Have them as DLC, or downloadable content rather, as in a full download.
Yep.
And then the games box. So you've got the full 4, or as it's supposed to be called, Gears 5. But I don't think they're going to have I don't want it to be Gear 5 of War.
Like in a Fast and Furious style.
Yeah, I want it to be Gears of War Second Judgment. So I want it to have a subtitle. I don't want a name. I don't want a number. But yeah, 10 years ago, nearly. 2006.
Yep.
That came out on Emergence Day, as they called it. And about a week later, I bought my Xbox 360.
Oh.
Now, I had one at launch, and then sold it for a profit before I even played it. And I always said I'd wait until Gears of War came out. And then Gears of War came out, and I was walking through town for the Christmas market that we have in Wiz Beach every year.
Yep.
And it was quite big this year, because it was one of the first ever. It was still the great big British market.
Yep.
And I was there with the council officially taking photos. And I walked down Norfolk Street. This was before I worked for Blockbusters.
Yep.
And outside Blockbusters was my soon-to-be colleague Nola, shivering with a table covered in Xbox 360 gubbins. And in there was the console that came bundled with Gears of War. And I thought, ooh, kind of want that a lot. And opposite my shop was a cash point. So I put my card in the cash point, and it let me withdraw exactly the amount of money the console cost. So I thought, well, that's obviously supposed to happen.
Yep.
So I bought the console, and then walked around a Christmas market for 3.5 hours
with a console.
with a console under my arm because there was no carrier bags big enough for it, and loads of people going, "You're brave carrying that around." It's like, no, I just don't want to put it down on the floor because that would be worse. I took it back and didn't play Gears of War for 3 whole days.
Oh.
I played Hexic HD.
Well,
It was a little puzzly game that came on the hard drive, and I was so amazed there was a game I didn't even know about. I started playing it, and because it was like a match 3 rotational puzzle, I was like, "Oh, I love these," and I forgot I had Gears of War for 3 days. And then I played Gears of War and was amazed at how good it looked. First game I played in HD. I think I played it in standard def for 2 days and then bought a HD TV because it was driving me mad. I couldn't read the text because it was so tiny. And and thus a legend was born. My gamer score started. My first achievement was on Viva Pinata, I think, though, not Hectic. Because part of the deal was we'd get it and I'd buy Viva Pinata for my missus at the time. And so she played a lot of that while I set the kids. And I think the first achievement that popped on my account was a Viva Pinata. So there's my Xbox story. But so next year we get Anniversary Edition, remade with new cutscenes.
Yes.
Which that's the bit I'm most happy about.
It's the bit I'm most interested in, so we do.
Because there's a lot of potential for them to start setting it, like almost the Star Wars Special Editions, where you can kind of start setting up a new storyline. And have some things in there. Like we were talking about the Battle of New York in the last episode. Like, they could put something in that might be a kind of a portent for
something else.
Something coming up. But also, I think it's Black Tusk, I think, is the company that's developing this.
Right.
And a lot of the original team from the first Gears are going across and helping out with it. So it is a game that did launch that console for a lot of people. It certainly did for me. And I think as 360 owners upwards, if you didn't have the generation before, the Gears of War trilogy is a pretty solid
place to start.
Great piece of game. And so to have that first one given the polish and given the love and attention it needs, because it's not a rough game at all.
No.
It was a really nice. The only level of the whole thing I ever got annoyed by was driving the tank.
Yes,
with
because
krill lights.
that was shitty.
But if you played it on co-op, it was fine.
Yeah,
it was designed as a co-op
game.
Like the fight against Ram at the end.
Yeah,
I completed it on Insane, but I couldn't have done it with the AI.
Yeah,
that would have been the end of me. So I did that with Eddie, I think, who used to hang around. But yeah, so that's on its way as well next year.
Yep,
looking forward to that. That's going to be phenomenal.
There's one game that isn't on its way.
Silent Hills.
Yes.
Now I'm not surprised by this because since Kojima left Konami, under whatever terms that was, it was speculated that his name was being taken off of the... He turned into a Sith.
No.
It's putting your hood up. Before the dark times, before the Empire. What's that? A lisp.
Anthony Hopkins.
There will always be two lisps.
Yep.
Siths. Bring in the clones. But yeah, so he left, and
he did.
This week, Guillermo del Toro said, as far as he's concerned, it's not happening.
Yep.
And now it's official, it's not happening. Which I'm good. I mean, to be honest, we had a teaser for it. The PT, which was the playable teaser, or trailer, however you want to announce it, was and is regarded as one of the scariest games ever made.
Yep.
The biggest tragedy of this is that's being pulled from the PlayStation Store, which is a shame because it should be preserved. I think it is. I've played it. I love it. It's something I wish. I'm hoping. I think because I don't know if I had my gamer tag or my network ID signed in when I played it. But if I had, I might be able to re-download it at a later date. But if not, it's one of those things. If you haven't got it, keep it on there. But by the time the show goes out, it'll be gone. So I can't even warn people. I have warned people personally, but yeah, Silent Hills had so much potential. Norman Reedus starring in it, Guillermo del Toro producing it with Kojima. It's just so much amazing potential. And the Silent Hill games have always been sort of here with me. Resident Evil was always my big thing. Silent Hill was always the other scary game. And I always kept waiting for that one that would absolutely nail it perfectly. Silent Hill 3 was really good, but I played it a couple of years after it came out, so it didn't look great. Whereas if I'd played it at launch, it would have been as good as anything else in the market. And none of the HD versions have ever got close. So I was very excited about this one. But, this is what happens, unfortunately.
It is.
You have a trailer for something 2 years before it's ever even likely to come out, and then nothing happens. So you gotta get on. But Guillermo del Toro's doing that. Is it Red Mountain? He's doing like a 1970s inspired horror movie at the moment, so that'll be fine. Yep. I'll cry myself to sleep with that instead. So yeah, that is the news this week. Some good, some bad, some ugly, and you turning into a Sith Lord.
Oh.
The Lisp Lord.
Lisp Lord.
Right. Before we jump onto your little bit, look what I've got. Loot crate.
Loot crate.
Because every time I get a loot crate, I never mention it on the show.
No.
This is where we got the crown from.
From the Marvel episode.
From the Marvel episode. That was an inflatable crown.
Yep.
Is that anything like a crown from Game of Thrones, or is it just a generic crown?
He looks maybe a little bit like the one Renly wore before he was killed.
A little bit. Right, so if I wear that, I'm like a skit. How did he die?
Horribly.
Is it a spoiler to tell me how he died?
Do you care about it if I tell you?
Well, I'd quite like to know what will happen to me if I wear this crown.
He got killed by a shadow.
A shadow?
Yeah.
Oh, that's alright. My shadow's smaller than me. Game of Thrones magnets.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
They're quite nice. So I can learn now. So that's the House of Stark, yeah?
It is.
Lannisters?
Yes.
What's that?
Baratheon?
Is that him, Renly?
Yes.
That's him, isn't it?
And Mark Addy was...
Mark Addy? Oh, sorry, I thought...
The House of Mark Addy.
Yeah, Mark Addy.
No, Mark Addy was Robert Baratheon.
Okay.
And the last one is House Targaryen.
Right. So which one of those is the dwarf man?
Lannister.
That one?
Yes.
The lions. Okay. All right. I won't use that one then because I'm not a dwarf man. So that was quite good.
Yep.
That's actually a magnet as well, the Game of Thrones logo.
Oh.
So you can do that. Now, I've got a luggage tag here.
Yes.
Warner Brothers. So what possible luggage tag could it be?
Warner Brothers. Bugs Bunny.
Fantasy related.
Bugs Bunny. Oh.
The platform 9 3/4 tag for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Obviously. Don't know why you need a tag saying which platform of King's Cross Station you need to go to, but there you go. If you don't know, you shouldn't really be going there.
Yep.
A lovely bow tie with a D20 and a dragon on it.
Yep.
Never going to wear that, apart from sexily. These
Gaddafi.
I fucking love these. Check these out.
All right.
Princess Bride playing cards.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to open them because I love the idea. Princess Bride is one of my favourite ever films.
Oh.
But I need to open them to know if he's got one where it's... I can't remember what it says now. Not yes, my love. Anyway, he says something to her. Then I've got my badge, which you always get a badge in Loot Crate. A little magazine. And the box is like a treasure chest thing, which is nice. I also got a T-shirt, which is upstairs with a suspicious stain on it, which I didn't bring down in case you looked at the stain and thought...
Gaddafi.
It's white chocolate. I had some Milky Bar buttons.
Yeah,
one got on my shoulder. But it's actually got a hole in the shoulder.
Yes, I saw you tweet about your
I've now realised I might have to wash it to get the white stain off if they say you need to send one back before we send you a new one. I'm like, yeah, you can have it back. But I really loved the shirt. But no, it's a red ampersand.
Right.
Made out of a dragon, so it's Dungeons and Dragons.
It's very clever.
Yeah, it's a really nice shirt, and it's generously cut as well. It comes down to beyond my pockets on my jeans, and it's not tight at all, and it's lovely red colour. So that was good, but they got back to me immediately. I messaged them to say there was a hole in it. They got back very quickly on Twitter to say just get in touch with support. Support got back to me today and said you don't have anybody. We don't have an account for your address. I was like, that's right, because my missus set it up. But yeah, they're going to sort out a replacement. Toot sweet. So all in all, the fancy. Oh, and I got a USB stick, didn't I? Which you gave to you.
Thank you very much.
And a House of Stark. Is it a Timberwolf?
Direwolf.
Timberwolf's a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Direwolf's not a real thing.
Only in the world of Game of Thrones.
So yeah, I could have had a Drogon.
Drogon.
Is that a dragon in Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah. Learning. It's not just bums and dragons. So yeah. So Loot Crate this month. If I could give it a rating, if I liked Game of Thrones, that would be a 9 out of 10 Loot Crate.
Yep.
As I don't, and I've had to give away something out of it,
right.
which I didn't have to, but you're a mate.
Thank you.
We help each other out.
We do.
And I thought you use it more than I would. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Mostly because the inflatable crown brings it way up.
Well, everyone's an inflatable crown.
It's my girlfriend's daughter made my girlfriend wear it. My girl was quite kind of shy about certain things. She wouldn't want to wear that in public, but she'd wear it in the house for a laugh. When she took it off, the plastic had created a static charge, and her daughter went, "Your hair's ecstatic."
Oh.
Which I thought was one of those nice little things. But yeah, so if you're listening and you haven't jumped on the Loot Crate bandwagon yet, it's about £20.40 a month, which, considering it comes shipped across from America and you only have to wait like 5 days after America to get it, it's not too bad at all. And as I say, so far I've not regretted being a subscriber. Although I am now in the position where I don't want to unsubscribe in case I miss something amazing. Yeah.
So they've got you hooked, basically. Which
is fine. I mean, but that's 20 quid.
Yeah.
Like, if I was into Game of Thrones, I'd have got 20 quid of stuff there.
Yeah.
Easy. The T-shirt, I always think if there's a T-shirt or a pop vinyl, that's 12 quid.
Straight away.
So everything else, is it worth 8 quid? Well, yeah. Just this little gunky things. We can give away as competition prizes, I can give away as presents to my kids and whatever. I can even give them to school raffles and be the cool dad.
Yeah.
Whatever. And the bow tie, I mean, that's now a sexy fantasy roleplay costume. Literally role-playing. Because it's got a D20 on it. So it's sexual roleplay in both senses of the word.
Yep.
But if you're interested in signing up, you can go to the website, www.lolacourse.co.uk, and on the top right-hand side there will be some affiliate links, and one of them will be Loot Crate.
Yep.
And you can join through there, and that gives us a little kickback, which is always nice. There's also Amazon on there now.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you're doing some shopping, you want to buy some roll plugs, you can help us out a little bit.
You can.
Just because the audio's not very good. And last week, when I had to drop Paul's name in, the audio improved massively because I used a different microphone. And I should have done the onboard mic, but I tried that from the Falcon, and whoa, you think this audio's... I mean, this device is very good.
Yeah.
But it is clear that we're not talking to microphones.
Yeah.
So the aim is, by the end of May, the 25th of May, we'll be set up with mixer and microphones and everything. So obviously that's going to come at a cost to us, and we don't mind that. But if you don't mind doing something from Amazon, just softens the blow a little bit. We can justify it to our significant others then. That's how it works. Or we can just use the money to buy our significant others small gifts.
Yes.
To keep them off the scent. You could just get some of them teeth sweets from Poundland, and I could just get a bar of Galaxy.
From Poundland?
Or from anywhere. Most places are £1. Also bought this CD. This is Cult Fiction.
Oh, yeah?
I had this on audio cassette in whenever it came out. What was this? 1995.
Okay.
Through one of those... You remember those book clubs where you'd order 5 books for 99p each? Well, then they used to do CDs and things. I bought 5 cassette tapes, 99p each. And This is Cult Fiction was my favourite.
Yeah.
It was just... it was after Pulp Fiction came out, there was a lot of demand for that kind of old retro vibe. So it was Tarantino movie themes, TV themes, 70s cop shows, Twin Peaks and stuff like that. And I just thought, I haven't heard that since about 1996, when my girlfriend at the time threw it out of a window because she was fed up of hearing Little Green Bag while I walked around in my pants, pretending I was Tim Roth.
Well, main theme from the Avengers, that could get confusing.
No, it's the proper Avengers. The Avengers, not Avengers Assemble, Rob. We're British, remember? And it's not from the Uma Thurman, Sean Connery starring Avengers either. Could you imagine that? That would be terrible. That's before that even existed. I was safe in the knowledge then that they were going to make a film and it was going to be amazing. And I didn't think it was going to be Sean Connery and a bloody teddy bear. Anyway, so that was £1.26.
Bargain.
Off of Amazon. So I could have got that through the affiliate link.
You could have.
And then we did, but I'm not allowed to use it.
No.
That would be immoral.
It would be.
So, so if you're buying something, that would help us out. Right. Last thing I'm going to talk about.
Yes.
Before we move on. Do you remember we had this last week? The Amazon Fire TV?
Yes.
The Fire Stick?
Yes.
I've been having a play with it.
Okay. What do you think of to play with your stick?
I think that the Amazon Fire Stick is probably my favourite gadget in the house.
Oh.
Because it is very simple at what it does.
Good.
It's got support for VLC player. The traffic cam.
Yep.
It has support for that. Like, it's literally just saying, look, we know you're going to use this to stream illegal videos.
Yep.
Let's give you some apps to do it. Why not? We don't want you jailbreaking it, or whatever it is that people do to things. We'll just give you an app for that. And it's perfect. It's done everything I want to do. I've streamed music to it, videos to it. I've got the Amazon Cloud Player, where I've got all my music on my phone.
Yep.
I've got that same app on the TV. You can play some music, and then you can play your games while that music still plays.
Yeah.
It's just incredibly well designed. I got it on the 19 quid preview price, but it's 35 quid new. If you want, I mean, if you haven't got a smart TV, it's a must-have. It loads everything quicker than my Xbox would load it.
Yep.
So I've barely put that on now. I mean, that's just for games now. Whoa, what a weird thing. A console just for games. So Jo, my housemate, she's bought one from upstairs.
Right.
And she bought one for a friend as well.
Right.
She played on it and absolutely loved it. And mostly I've been playing Crossy Road on a massive TV. And it's nice. Very nice. So yeah, Fire Stick, very much recommended. You can get it from Amazon through the affiliate link.
Yeah.
35 quid. And that, I think if we got like 4% of that, that'd be what? Like 14p.
What?
That'd be good. I'd like that. So yeah, thank you very much for your support. Right, you've got the control of the big plate, my friend.
I've got control of the big plate.
You've got the big plate this week.
Well, you asked what franchises people would like to see resurrected.
I did.
From the days of yore.
Days of my what?
Hey?
Days of my what?
Yore.
Your
what?
what?
As in oldie-timey.
What, like Marvel Knights?
That's something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Summer Nights, maybe.
What have we got then?
Well, let's have a look and see what we can pull up here. And we go all the way back to the start. We've had a lot of responses, actually, to this one.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
We ask serious questions about like sexuality in games and violence in games and the inherent violence of society. Nothing. You say, what game would you like to play again? You get loads of people going, oh, can I have this game from 1984, please?
Yep. So, right, here we go. Let's start with Postman Gav.
Okay.
One of our competition winners, no less.
Yeah, well.
He was. Who says, Micro Machines done properly. Top down, not 3D. Cannon fodder, exactly the same. HD graphic, but still retaining old look. I'm with him on Micro Machines.
Yeah, I mean, they did the Tabletop Racers thing, which was kind of Microsoft's V3, wasn't it, on the PS3, the first proper 3D one.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd love to see a proper top-down one, and definitely Cannon Fodder. Although they did do Cannon Fodder 3 as well. It was a Russian company. I remember when it came out, I was very angry about it. But yeah, it was rubbish, so you done properly would be okay.
Yep.
Right.
Welshbeck.
He sent a lot of suggestions through.
We'll try and make sense of them all in order.
Don't do the Welsh accent, or we'll never make sense of any of it.
No. If they could redo Hogs of War, use original Rick Mail voice. Micro Machines would be cool, so that's another vote for Micro Machines.
Okay.
He also says he loves that Battlefront is happening again, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
An up-to-date version of Severance would be cool. Killing an orc with his Butty's severed arm, never.
Tyres,
yep.
I think that's Buddy's severed arm.
No, it's Butty's is the thing.
I think
it's a translation of Buddy's.
Yeah.
Synaptic Flare was trying to explain it to me. It's a Welsh thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
A good-looking reboot.
So hang on, so he deliberately wrote Butties?
Yeah, no, it's a serious thing.
Bloody Welsh people.
I thought Synaptic had sent me a weird message the other day. I'm like, what?
Is that
Stop offering me a chip Butty. He's like, no.
Butties? That takes more effort than Buddies.
Well.
You have to make a T sound. Twice.
So, a good-looking reboot of Rick Dangerous or Who Dares Wins or Cannon Fodder. So that's another vote for Cannon Fodder.
Who Dares Wins was very good as well.
So,
Commando as well.
Yep. And he also added, after that, I really like Spy vs. Spy as a kid. Would that work on today's platform? California Games, another one?
Oh, could you imagine California Games? Because that was that whole time when those sort of games, those sports were radical. Like surfing and skateboarding and stuff. Yeah,
there's a Point Break remake coming out.
Yeah.
So, and then finally he also added, please make it happen, also General Chaos from the Mega Drive.
No, it was rubbish.
And then again later on, Fear Effect from the PlayStation has a special place in my heart. Obviously Welshbeck played a lot of games during a certain period of time.
Well, Fear Effect Double Helix, I think it was called. Or something Helix, I can't remember now. But that was very good. They were going to do a follow-up to that on the PS2, which I think was called Inferno. Fear Effect Inferno. And it got cancelled because it was was it Core made or IDOS, wasn't it? Published Tomb Raider and then they got merged. Yep. And when they got merged, they saved Tomb Raider. It didn't save Fear Effect, which was a shame. What else we got?
And finally, Welshbeck added one more. I imagine my daughter would love a World of Illusion remake.
We'd all love a world. They've done Castle Illusion, so
they did.
There's no reason.
Snizmaniz.
I
love this on the Mega Drive, and he sent us a screenshot of Desert Strike on the Mega Drive.
I loved.
Jungle Strike was mine.
Nuclear Strike on the PS1 was mine. I love the urban, and I love jungle, and I love desert, but because I think it's because it had nuclear bombs in it. I always like nuclear bombs in games.
Vossifology, Big Plate, bring back Everyone's a Wally.
Do you know what Everyone's a Wally is?
No, I never.
Do you know what? I bet 95% of people who listen to this will have no idea what this is. I had this game, and I didn't appreciate until I was an adult how great it was. It was the first game to have multiple protagonists controllable. Yeah. You basically, I think Wally was the builder, and your mission was to build a wall.
Okay.
His wife, I think, was taking some books back to a library. And then there was Tom, Dick and Harry, who were his mates, who were like electricians and things. One of them was a hippie. And it all came on a cassette tape, which was great. And it kind of looked a bit like a mix of Dizzy and Jet Set Willy. But the B-side of the tape was a song by one of the guys who was in Are You Being Served called Everyone's a Wally.
Right.
And we're going to play that song at the end of this episode. Because I read that tweet and I had forgotten about that game. Oh. And suddenly it was like, oh, Jesus, yeah. So that should come back. And it's, definitely.
Okay, and Vossifology also added, how about Silent Hill and ICO for the PS4? Just look at those exclusives.
Yeah, that would be, Silent Hill, though, probably not so much now. They've cancelled one.
True. Paul Whittip on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
X-Wing TIE Fighter, which I thought they were talking about making...
They are.
Remaking,
Talking about doing that, Disney are making...
And he also added Bomberman and Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, well, Bomberman sort of did the next-gen, or did the Xbox 360 Battlefest ones, didn't it? So
it did.
As long as it's not like that Bomberman Zero they did. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a bit rubbish.
Oh, Christ. But Samurai Showdown, yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's a very good one.
Gerdog, can I offer up Ghosts and Goblins?
No, because it's too bloody hard.
And then he also submitted Tenchu Stealth Assassins.
Which is also quite hard.
It was
I have a lot of respect for Gerdog. He's clearly a man of balls.
At Life of Pet, Crash Bandicoot.
Ooh, this is Pet off of The Gamer's Confessional.
Yes.
He's Greek.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he can't submit one. No, Crash Bandicoot, yeah. Again, that was rumoured because Sony put a Bandicoot sign in a trailer for a game. And it had the square old PlayStation, like the Sony Entertainment logo, had that, and then a Bandicoot, and then an arrow or something. And everybody was like, oh, it's coming back. And it never happened, which was a real gutting shame, because they were massive. And they're still the most requested games on PS3/360 in my shop. People are asking for them, and they never released a Crash Bandicoot game on the PS3, but they did on the 360.
That surprises me.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was saying to someone, I've never seen a PS3 game come through here. Let's have a look if we can find you one. Didn't bring one out.
Oh.
So, I dare say it's something to do with go through. I've also got a tweet on here, which isn't related to the big plate, but I've just read it and I've got to read it out. Have you had to walk 500 miles? Were you advised to walk 500 more? You could be entitled to compensation. Call the Proclaimers now.
Oh, lovely. Well played.
So, well done to Geigerpunk for retweeting that. That was genius. So, yeah, a lot of input. A lot of those games very good, but yeah, everyone's a Wally. We'll be playing the theme to that at the end of the show. I have sourced it. I've got it already. So, yeah, I even put on here that it's on the running order, so I don't forget when I edit it. There it is. Everyone's a Wally.
Everyone's.
With some musical notes, just in case I think, is that just me having a rant at the world again like normal? So, yeah, well, it's nearly time to wrap up the show.
It is.
If it wasn't for this.
Yes.
I've got it in my hand right now. I'm going to eat one on the show.
Okay.
So you tell people what I'm putting in my mouth.
A Pringles tortilla chip. It's basically what it says on the tin. It's a Pringles shaped crisp by Pringles in the style of a tortilla chip. So it's not quite a cheesy Pringle. It's not quite a proper tortilla chip. It's just some horrible hybrid. Just unpleasant to eat, but it's just weird and wrong.
Very weird and wrong. Yeah, I like how it says everything exactly as it says on the tin.
Yes.
When it's in a tin. That was quite good.
Thanks.
Now, 56% of this is corn flour.
Yep.
Which is the constituent part of a nacho, tortilla chip thing. But, yeah, it is weird. I don't know why they did it. There's a whole range of these coming out. They're £1 at Tesco's at the moment.
Right.
Absolute bargain. You can probably get them on Amazon. I don't know. I doubt it. Actually, no, don't. Do you know, I had somebody who bought a pack of biscuits on Amazon just as a joke. £2.72 for some digestives.
That's a terrible joke.
And when they arrived, they were all bashed about.
Of course they were.
I asked to return them, and he was like, well, I had to open them to know they were bashed about. I was like, well, if that was a CD, you'd have sent it back. So, yeah, it was biscuits. Like, £2.72 biscuits? Yeah. That's more expensive than a service station. No, you don't do that. So, yeah, if you're into tortilla chips, and you think they're a bit too pointy, or the bags are too noisy, because that's the advantage of those. You can have those in a cinema, and you wouldn't have any issues.
Yep.
Like I said, they're not quite crunchy enough.
No.
They've not got that bite to them that you expect from a proper tortilla chip. But they do have the texture. They look like one. They look They look like somebody's had sex, like a big tortilla's had sex with a Pringles man. And that's what's happened. But even like the nacho cheeses aren't very attractive. They're just quite boring orange cheese. But yeah, they're tasty enough. That's all that matters. So, review of those, 6.5 out of 10. Yeah. I've reviewed crisps finally.
Cool.
I've talked about this.
Let's call it a draw there.
In the past, I once said there could be a thing where you could like pull a crisp out of a bag and try and name what country it looks most like. You couldn't do that with that because they'd all look round.
They would.
Or ovally, or whatever shape a Pringle is. But yes, so that's the end of the show.
Yes.
We've talked about a lot of things.
We have.
Done 2 whole podcasts in one night.
We have.
And I've got to edit all of these tomorrow so I can get one out on Wednesday and schedule the other Friday.
Yep.
/ Saturday. Probably Saturday. I'll be too wowed by the Wednesday night one. But in the meantime, you can, as always, rate or review us on iTunes or Stitcher. We've dropped out of Nil Noteworthy because our audio quality is not good enough.
Is that what it is?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
We're working on that. We have changed the album artwork as well.
We have.
So we were told to increase the resolution of the album artwork.
Yep.
I'm basically talking to iTunes and they're saying they want to be able to push us, but because the audio is better on the first few episodes when we were using mics, sort of, than we are now, we've been dropped out. But we can get back into it again. There's noteworthy, even if not new. So your reviews will help that, so please do so. You can tweet us at WeAreTheLollicourse for letter R. You can follow me at Bouncy with an H after second B.
And follow me at Rob McGregor35.
As always, you can follow the tube blockers themselves, Mark at XBLA Stillicam and Dalek at The Voice of Sex. And of course you can find their YouTube stuff and channels via the website, which is www.lollicourse.co.uk.
Yes.
You're starting to put stuff onto Tumblr as well as the blog, so if you don't like reading WordPress blogs for some reason, or you're just a child and you only use things like Tumblr, that'll be on there. Maybe, if there's an interest in it, we might even also set up a subreddit.
Yep.
Which I've heard is a thing.
It's a thing.
Being an old man, I'm not really in with these things, but one of the podcasts I listen to has got a subreddit, and it's quite good to communicate with the fans. But I'd prefer to do it on Twitter, really. So that's it for the show. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you, Rob, for coming round.
Thank you.
And everybody can now enjoy Everyone's Wally. Take it away, the man from Open All Hours.
Now, Wally was a builder, and he had to build an house. He knew the basics of the trade, but hadn't got the nous to lay the bricks, dig the drains, or put in lights and doors, to slate the roof, plumb the bath, or lay down any floors. But Wally was a grafter, and he didn't like the shirt. That's why he called in all his mates to help him do the work. Everyone's a Wally, a Charlie or a Bunny. bungler or a bug. Everyone's a Wally, an Anna or a Nelly or a nerd. First Wally called him Dick the Brick, who turned up with his odd. And he was up to all the tricks of good-for-nothing so-and-so, like super glue between the bricks instead of using mortar. Here, Dick, said Wally, don't you think you ought to use proper stuff to do the job? But Richard, in his ace, had trampled on the tube and stuck a shovel to his face. Oh, everyone's a Wally, a Charlie or a bungler or a bug. Everyone's a Wally, a Nelly or a Nana or a nerd. Everyone's a Wally, a nincompoop, a noddy or a nerd. Everyone's a Wally, everyone's a Wally, that's the word. A hippie known as Harry Krishna to his mate, turned up to do the wiring. What a 2 and 8! He opened up the fuse box, it didn't half go dark, so he fiddled with the terminals, which all began to spark. He set his finger in a socket, he threw the switch, began to twitch and took off like a rocket. Everyone's a Wally, a Charlie or a bungler or a bug. Everyone's a Wally, a Nelly or a Nana or a nerd. Everyone's a Wally, a nincompoop, a noddy or a nerd. Everyone's a Wally, everyone's a Wally, that's the word. Young Tommy was a plumber's mate, a spiky-looking punk. You've never seen a geezer dressed in so much frigging junk. Well, he started in the bathroom, and after half an hour, he'd rip the basin off the wall and pulverise the shower.
The cart is working well,
he said while swinging on the chain. The sister hit him on the head and flushed him down the drain. Everyone's a Wally, a Charlie